Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. So today's video is another video on finances and how to be a fiscally responsible millennial. That's a mouthful. So for you guys that are new to my channel, welcome. And for you guys who are coming back, thank you very much. Be sure to like and subscribe if you are interested in this video and others like it. So let's jump right into the video. So for this video, I want to talk to you guys about filing your taxes. Now, I have been filing my own taxes for about 3 years now, pretty much independently, and it was really scary when I first started, I'm not gonna lie. I used TurboTax, and my mom was a really good resource for me when I first started out, and since then I've kind of just gotten the hang of it. But honestly, using TurboTax was like the #1 thing that I would recommend to anyone, especially those who are just starting out on trying to really start taking care of business for themselves. So TurboTax really is like, it walks you through everything. It's like dummy proof almost. So you really just want to, #1, get a good software for your taxes. That's the first tip there. And then after that, you really want to make sure that you have everything in order. So make sure you have all of your expenses in order. If you have a home business, make sure you have all of your earnings in order, as well as the expenses it takes to manage and uphold your business itself. If you are an Uber driver and you use your car for business, make sure that you're clocking in all of those miles that you're using for business, the gas that you use for business. If you're a YouTuber, you've got a setup. You've got your camera, you probably got some lights. You have a room, maybe a room that you dedicate to being like a home office where you record. Things like that. All of those things are tax write-offs. If you are like me and you're a student, you may have some additional write-offs. If you bought a computer, that's a write-off. Books, a write-off. Anything related to your education can be considered a write-off. So I am no expert when it comes to these things. I'm not a professional tax filer or financial assistant. I simply am telling you guys what works best for me to save me the most money and get the best return back. So honestly, in the 3 years that I've been doing my own taxes, as well as the years that my mother was doing it for me beforehand, in the 3 years that I've been doing my own taxes, I have gotten a return of at least $4,000. I have never owed any type of taxes. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that I don't spend like crazy. I take care of my finances. And then the other big thing is that I have kids. So that also plays a huge role in your taxes for you guys that don't have kids. Now, I'm not saying to go make some kids, because that's definitely gonna add a huge, totally new package of finances that will still be added into your next year when you have that baby. But that in itself just really helped in the fact that paying for childcare, that becomes a tax write-off. Things like that, the state knows, or the government knows that, okay, you put this much money into taking care of those children. Now we're going to give you a tax break and give you some of that back. So that's another thing that if you didn't know or you weren't taking advantage of and you have children, that is another option that you can use as far as tax breaks as well. But children aside, there are several other things that you can do to be sure that you're getting the most back, to be sure that you're getting the most back from your taxes as possible. So like I said, gas mileage, maintenance on cars, anything. If you're using your car for business, I myself traveled as a medical assistant for a couple of years, and it took a toll on my car. Now, it wasn't horrible, but obviously I was like, okay, well, I need to be compensated for this. I mean, I'm getting my oil changed. I had to get my tires changed eventually. And then obviously gas plays a huge factor in that. You have to be documenting that, all of that, from the beginning of the year to December 31st, because whatever you don't document and don't put into that taxes is going to be your loss, really. So you have to be documenting yourself. And so that's a major thing. Having yourself together, having everything in order for you to file, and also documenting well. Now, you can go and you can pay someone to do these things for you. There are professionals out there, accountants, bookkeepers, that will take care of all this stuff for you. You still have to provide them with check stubs, receipts, things like that. So you still have to be on it as far as what you give them, but their job is making sure that everything that you give them is in order and ready for tax season when it comes. So having those things in order, keeping track of everything, documenting everything is key in your taxes. Now, when you file and you use a software system like TurboTax, it really breaks everything down for you. And by the time you finish and you feel like you've put everything into the software before you file, you have the opportunity to really look at everything in depth and make sure that you have everything in there. So it's not one of those like, okay, once you put it in, you can't go back and you can't save it, because you definitely can do that. I don't do everything in a day. I honestly don't. Sometimes there'll be like one or two things I'll be like, dang, I really forgot. Or let me go check this in my Excel sheet to be sure that this was correct. So you can in fact go back, you can save things, you can start the next morning, you can save it for another day. You don't have to do everything in one day. And I think that really scares people, is just feeling like, okay, well, what if I don't have everything ready and I try to do this? That's fine. That's why it's called tax season. You have a season to get it done, not a day. So you really want to make sure that the bulk of what you need is there though, because that's just going to really minimize your troubles when you get ready to file your taxes. And I can't like stress that enough, because it really is the most important thing. Because if you have a smooth tax filing season, then more than likely you will be willing to do it again next year versus trying to pay somebody. But hey, at least this way you get to keep your $100 or your 3% or whatever they charge you of what you get back. I've never paid anybody to do my taxes, and I don't plan on it. And the biggest pro to filing your own taxes is that you know exactly what is being filed. Because I'm telling you, if somebody does something a little shady and it comes back to you, the IRS, they be looking. I mean, they might not no, they tell you. So they're looking, and they're going to look, and if there's any indiscrepancy in what you've reported and what, you know, your job is reporting, or the daycare is reporting, or whatever entity is reporting, if there's an indiscrepancy, they're going to come find you. They're not going to waste time trying to find your job, because they're expecting that your job is paying out like they're supposed to. They're going to come and find you and be like, hey, why didn't you put this on your taxes? Why was this not filed? That was your responsibility. Blah. And you have to be able to keep your documentation. So that's the last really important step that I want to mention to you guys, is to keep what you file. Do not simply just throw out any papers that you wrote down all of your information on. Now, a good thing about TurboTax is that you can actually keep those CDs, those records, save them onto your computer, and there you go. You have your entire year of tax filing done, saved on the computer, and as long as you keep that computer, or make sure that you transfer it over if you move computers, you will always have it. So that's a plus to that. But if you use something else, or even if you just want to, if you keep your records for yourself, keep those records with you. If nothing else, keep them with you, because it may come back to bite you in the butt later on. And if you can say, look, I've got receipts, that's all they care about, you're good. So you really want to be sure that you cover your butt, basically. Keep your documentation, cover your butt, because you never know with the government. They don't play. So just make sure you're in order. So to end the video, guys, tax filing is not hard. You can definitely do it yourself and save some money. You can definitely maximize your return just by simply knowing what to look for and what to actually write off on your taxes. So if you'd like a more in-depth video on how to do that, then definitely comment below, like the video, subscribe, let me know how you feel, because I know there's a lot of people, I didn't realize it, but there are a lot of people who are interested in filing their own taxes and taking better control of their own finances, but they're scared and they don't know how to do it. So I'd really like to help you. If you want me to help you, or you want me to go into depth about it, then just let me know. Bye, guys.